Well, hello everybody. As you can see here, this is Anna Kasparian from the Young Turks. You know, I'm gonna. You know what? I'm just gonna leave this to you. I'm gonna let this roll. I'm gonna let this play out. I'm gonna go get some more coffee, and when I come back, we'll have a conversation about it. How about that?
The CEO of Papa John's is trying to explain why it is that their third quarter earnings were not so great. In fact, in a conference call regarding the company's disappointing third quarter earnings, Papa John's CEO essentially said that the company is struggling because of the NFL's lingering anthem controversy. And he blamed the NFL's lingering anthem controversy on NFL leadership, namely Commissioner Roger Goodell, who didn't nip this in the bud. He should have just squashed it immediately and stopped the players from kneeling. And that's the whole reason why people aren't buying his pizza.
Oh, my God. So this guy's a Republican, pals around with Peyton Manning. You know how I feel about that. And this is the same party that believes in personal responsibility.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, no, it's not that my pizza sucks. It's not that the only reason that anybody buys my pizza is because of that toxic garlic butter that we all actually secretly enjoy.
Oh, it's so good, though.
I know. But
I'm going to be honest with the audience. I like Papa John's pizza. I'm sorry.
okay.
I don't like the CEO.
No, our job is to be honest.
Yes.
And
Okay. Now, I've seen up to this point. I haven't seen much beyond this, but I've seen to this point. Yes, we believe in personal responsibility, those in the conservative movement. And, we understand that, business practices do occasionally need to change. But maybe, just maybe, did you ever stop to think and compare the numbers with the number of seats that are not getting sold in American football stadiums right now at the current moment? And the correlation of the third quarter numbers with Papa John's, maybe there's a correlation there. Maybe there's a correlation between the people who aren't watching the football games, who aren't dealing with the protests because they don't want to pay to see somebody else take a knee. I've said this multiple times, many places else. Other than this, I've said it on my Facebook, I've said it on my Twitter, and I've had it out with several of my friends on Facebook, on my personal Facebook. Maybe, just maybe, if these players want to protest, they shouldn't get paid to do it. Did you ever stop to think about that? Well, what's one of the ways that you can backlash and make sure that nobody gets paid for it? Well, you hit the advertisers. Okay? You hit the advertisers. You hit them where it hurts. You hit them in their wallet. And if the advertisers are losing money, they're not going to want to advertise with you any further. Right? Jerry Jones has this right. In case you didn't notice, but y'all are the Young Turks. Y'all never notice.
and I don't like their pizza at all. It's super mediocre, but the butter.
Actually, their pizza's pretty good. My personal opinion, it's not a mediocre pizza. It's actually better than average. There's only maybe 2 or 3 franchises that I've seen that beat that, and they're smaller franchises. Pizza for Less out of Arkansas and Mr. Jim's Pizza out of Texas. Those are actually the good ones. Those are the good ones. Those are the ones that I'd really love to see here in Missouri. Just saying.
I don't know what's in the butter.
It's not butter.
It's not butter, okay, but it is good. Okay. Anyway, so look into making your pizza better, or maybe your business practices.
It's not making their pizza better. It's not. They're changing their business practices. It is simply the fan base doesn't want to pay for a product that comes from the NFL or that sponsors the NFL, and the NFL is allowing its players to protest and get paid for it.
No, never personal responsibility. It's those damn African-American players who care about...
And this has nothing to do with race, Sink. Zero to do with race. You miss the whole point here, okay? It has zero to do with race.
Getting shot by cops wrong.
Again, another false narrative. Think about it, Sink. Who commits 50% of the violent crime here in America? African American men. What percentage of the population do they actually make up in America? 6.1%.
Wrongly. I mean, if only they stopped getting shot. Well, they want to stop getting shot, right? Oh, why don't they just stop complaining about injustice and how people...
Why don't more African American men quit committing violent crime? Maybe they wouldn't get shot.
People are getting killed in the wrong ways. You're costing me pizza sales.
Here's what I want to know. Is there anything that black people won't get blamed for?
I know.
Plenty of things. National debt, the Ugandan crisis, what's his name? The former Nicaraguan leader, Fidel Castro. They won't get blamed for that. Oh, wait. Those are men you idolize and look up to.
Right?
Right? Like, all of a sudden, they're the reason why Papa John's is not selling as many pizzas as it wants to or should. It's amazing. So let me give you the CEO's exact quotes during this conference call. He said, good or bad, leadership starts at the top, and this is an example of poor leadership. This should have been nipped in the bud a year and a half ago. The NFL controversy is polarizing the customer, polarizing the country.
No, that's it. I'm done.
Okay, and it is doing such. If you haven't cared to take a look. Yes, it is polarizing. But when it comes down to it, Anna, do you really want to go and see a bunch of paid protesters at Berkeley? Let me ask you that, okay? If everybody else standing on the sidelines had to buy a ticket to watch what goes on at Berkeley, would you honestly pay to see it? No. Hey? But what you get on a football field is exactly what went on in Berkeley. It's just under controlled conditions, unlike Berkeley. That's why they call the football field the gridiron.
With Papa John's. I'm serious. So I know I did the Chick-fil-A ban because of their views on the LGBT community. We did it with a lot of people. I found out secretly that they're now going to eat there. But I've held strong, okay? And I'm a man who cares about food. No, I'm done with Papa John's. You're going to blame people complaining, people rightfully looking to change the justice system so that it is more just to all Americans for your lack of business sense?
Okay, Saint, here's the deal, and let me put it to you this way, okay? I had a cousin of mine in Texas executed in 2015. Yeah, executed by the state of Texas. Guess what his crime was? He killed 2 people. It's a capital offense. Was it unjust? No, it wasn't. The punishment fit the crime. Okay. Again, I go back to the statistical numbers. 50% of all violent crime committed by African American males, but they make up 6.1% of the population in the United States. But it's unjust. Yeah.
No, you schmuck. You're putting all your ads on TV. You're overpaying Peyton Manning. You're overpaying the TV networks, and not that many people are watching TV anymore.
And now,
actually, they watch the football games, and he advertises on the NFL Network. He advertises on NFL Sunday Ticket. He advertises on CBS, NBC. He advertises everywhere for Papa John's, and he's getting hammered because football players won't take a knee.
But you're too stupid to figure out digital, and so you're like, oh, I don't know. Let's do what all Republicans do. Like Adam said, let's just blame black people. Yeah. Well, why do they care about justice so much when they should be forced to buy our pizzas?
Okay, and nowhere in John's statements did he ever blame black people. That's an assumption on your part that you're just making an ass of yourself for. Okay? And you're making an ass of yourself, and you don't care. Okay? Seriously, this is the reason why I avoid you, Sink. This is the reason why I avoid the Young Turks. This is the very reason why I don't watch you very much and I'm not subscribed to you on YouTube. But let's continue.
There's one other factor that I think we're missing, and this is not a paid sponsorship, so I'm not doing this as an ad, but I just want to be clear. Domino's also stepped up its game, okay? Domino's is delicious and my favorite pizza chain in the country.
I think they've added the garlic sauce. But I think Papa Dacus' line is that he thinks because there's this boycotts on the NFL because white people, because that's the only people who eat his damn pizzas, they're not watching the NFL because the boycotts, the kneeling is turning off all my white customers, and all my white customers aren't seeing my ads anymore during football games, and now they're not buying.
Oh, good Lord, where they dig this guy up at? He's a new face. I don't know this guy. Kind of glad I left it there. You guys can tell me in the description what his story is and where he comes from and everything else. And now he even ends up on the Young Turks. Here's the thing, is that it's not just white people buying Papa John's. It's African Americans, Hispanics. You know, but seriously, fans of the NFL are not turning out in the stadiums. If they're not turning out in the stadiums, they're not turning on their TVs to watch football games. It's that simple. The Nielsen ratings are down. Stadium attendance is down. What else are they watching? Well, they're watching golf. They're watching tennis. They're watching Olympic sports. They're watching basketball. They're watching baseball. Yeah. Oh, and they're watching NASCAR. Just little glimpse into that.
Buying my pizzas because they're not reminded about my pizzas anymore. But then you got folks that also are boycotting the other way, and they're not watching because of how Colin Kaepernick got ousted. So, is it all the customers who are in support of Kaepernick's protest and much of the rest of the NFL's protest that aren't buying your damn pizzas? No, he just thinks one-sided. It's just these folks.
He is not thinking one-sided. He never mentioned race anywhere in it. He never mentioned it being one-sided. He should have said that the NFL should have cut this in the bud a year and a half ago. That's exactly what he said. I'm sorry you guys have taken on the social justice warrior mentality in all of this. But again, the American people on both sides don't want to see players make multiple millions of dollars. And protest. Again, I say, do you want to watch Berkeley and want to pay a $45 fee for a ticket to go watch a Berkeley protest? No. Okay. Do I want to watch it commercialized on YouTube? No. Do I want to watch it commercialized on my local TV? No. Sorry.
Minded people that aren't watching the NFL, that aren't buying my pizzas. So therefore, they should have nipped this in the bud and not allowed them to not watch my damn commercials anymore.
So whether you want to join my one-man boycott or not, I'll tell you this. Papa John's clearly cares much more about their pizza sales than they do about the injustice that African Americans live with on a daily basis.
Guess what, Sink? They're a private corporation. Of course they're going to care more about their pizza sales than they will Joe Blow on the street buying the pizzas. It's the American corporate way. Sorry.
Or freedom of speech.
And if that's your priority...
Okay, Anna. Where is it freedom of speech when they step foot on a football field, they get their paycheck? Whether or not they enter the game. Just a question. If it were a matter of free speech, you wouldn't demand anybody else buy a ticket for that game. You wouldn't charge corporations to commercialize the broadcast of that game. Just a statement.
Then go ahead and buy Papa John's. But if your priorities are justice for all Americans, and you see how indifferent this company is to that, and how they're blaming you for their own problems, well, then it's not a company I'd want to give my money to. If you...
Oh, Sync. Sync. You really don't get commercialization when there's nobody there to see the commercials, and they see Domino's commercials over on other things other than the NFL. They see Pizza Hut's advertisements on other things other than the NFL. They see local mom and pops on things other than the NFL. Who do you think they're going to go to? They're going to go to Pizza Hut. They're going to go to Domino's. They're going to go to the local mom and pops. But you don't think about that. But there again, you don't want to admit it either. Ladies and gentlemen, I am a repentant conservative. Again, I apologize for this, but yeah, these are things that I'm going to start doing from now on. We will catch you down the log. Y'all stay safe. 7 threes.